Hi guys, Vanessa here from DIY Craft Tutorials, and I have another great Cricut Design Space tutorial for you today. And I'm going to show you how to create your own knockout text. We are going to focus on these three types of knockouts, so let's go ahead and get started. So here we are in Cricut Design Space. I have a blank canvas as we are going to start from scratch. The first thing I'm going to do is create some text. Mother's Day is coming up, so let's type Mum both ways. It's best to use bold fonts, so for this one I'm going to choose Bebas Newy. I think that's how you say it, for one of the texts, and change the colors so you can see it better. And on this one I'm going to use Times New Roman and change the style to bold. Now I type the names and make a duplicate. The font I'm going to use here is I Love Glitter. It is not a Design Space font. You will need to download it from the link I have linked below. And for the second set, I'm going to use a font called Joseph Sophia. These fonts have alternative characters, which are the swashes and hearts, but you cannot access them from Design Space directly. You will need an outside program. What I do is go to Font Cloud by Creative Fabrica. It is free to use and stores all my fonts in here. I can easily access any glyph a font has. I will leave a link to the detailed Font Cloud tutorial in the description if you're interested. If you're on a PC, you can use your character map, or on a Mac you can use Fontbook to get alternative characters for fonts. So in Font Cloud I type in I Love Glitter, which is the font that I need, and here you will see all the characters the font has. These characters here are the ones I want to use, so I select this character by just clicking in the box to copy, and then back in Design Space I go to where I want to put it in, and in this case it is before the S in Sarah, and right click to paste. So now I'm going to do the same thing for the end character, so back into Font Cloud, selecting the end character, and then pasting it after the M. I go and select the heart that I want to use and add it between the H and the G and the E and the A. Now go ahead and click on Weld, which will make everything join perfectly and cut out as one. From here, resize to fit the mum, and once you have the sizing right, go up to offset, add a 0.1 offset, and then click apply. Select all elements for this design and align center. Hide the names layer so that you're left with the offset and also the mum text. Then with both layers selected, click on slice. Now you can move away this layer, which will leave the negative cutout. Delete this as you don't need it anymore. Unhide the names, select both layers and align center once again. This is your first knockout all done. Now on to the next one. For this one we are going to split the text and add the names in the middle. Back in Font Cloud I choose my characters that I want to use. Resize the names to fit inside the mum text. Now go ahead and click on Weld, which will make everything join perfectly and cut out as one. I make a square shape and click this padlock to unlock the dimensions. Now I can resize this rectangle to fit the name, and I like to make sure that the width is just a bit bigger than the mum text. Duplicate this rectangle and shorten the height. Then duplicate this line again and place it on the bottom of the orange rectangle. Select all layers, go back up to align, and center horizontally. Next, select both the green lines and click on Weld. Select all layers again and go to Align and Center. Next, hide the green layer along with the names and select the remaining 2 layers. Click on Slice, which will remove the center part of the text. Delete the cutout just as you did with the first design and unhide the layers you hid. Center everything again, and with the mum text along with the green lines selected, click on Weld to join. So that is the second knockout design. Now onto the last knockout design. And this design is very similar to the first one we knocked out, however I am using a sunflower instead of a center letter. I start off by uploading my sunflower SVG and typing 2 M's. Once the dimensions of the M and the sunflower look good together, I select everything and click on Weld. Go ahead and design your cursive text, including the extra characters. You can then create your offset just as you did for the first design and make sure that all layers are centered. Now with the offset and text selected, click on Slice and then delete the parts you don't want. Duplicate the blue layer, and while one of them is selected, click on Contour. The aim for this is to remove the letter M from both sides. You can do this by clicking on the elements that make up the M, and you will notice that they become dull or a lighter grey. Once done, you should be left with just the sunflower. Now go to the duplicated mum. Here you will do the opposite. Sometimes I like to hide all contours by clicking this button here. Then I select all the pieces I want to see, which in this case is the M's. Next, I duplicate the sunflower and remove what would be the center part of the flower. And for this one, I'm removing the petals, leaving only the center part. Select all layers and align center. I plan to put these decals on subway tiles which I picked up from my local hardware store. I go through and measure them so I can make the decals the right size in Design Space. I also prep them using alcohol swabs, which will help the vinyl adhere better and remove any impurities. Back in Design Space, I make a square shape, unlock the dimensions and make a rectangle that is 11.75 by 4 inches, which is for the large subway tile. For the smaller subway tile, I resize the rectangle to 6 by 2.75 inches. Now that all the decals have been resized to fit the subway tiles, I select all layers and change the color to one color throughout, which will allow me to cut all layers on one mat using different vinyls. I am using a 12 by 12 mat and you will notice that I'm arranging all layers in groups, which will allow me to cut out different images in the same color vinyl. As I am using standard adhesive vinyl, I choose the premium vinyl permanent glossy setting. I will now let the video roll so you can see how I transfer the vinyl to the tiles. This was such a fun project. These tiles were very popular last year, and I'm sure they will be again this year. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next tutorial.